The penny retiring is tiny in impact, but we all have to agree this is huge symbolically. It shows that the government is slowly, as the government does, and painfully willing to update systems that haven't changed since our grandparents were young. Think of it like your dad finally canceling his AOL email address. It is a sign of growth. You're listening to Everyone's Talking Money, the show that's all about making life richer. Whether you're here to crush debt, build wealth, or finally feel in control of your cash, you are in the right place. Ladies, gentlemen, financially frustrated Americans everywhere, we gather here today in a moment of national reflection, a moment none of us asked for, but here we are, to lay rest to a tiny copper-colored companion who has lived in our pockets, our cup holders, and the darkest, dustiest corners of our homes. Yes, the penny, our smallest, most useless, and somehow most abundant coin, has officially retired by the U.S. Mint. Let's take a moment of silence for every time a cashier handed you 4 pennies back and you thought, what am I supposed to do with these? Thank you. Okay, let's talk about what actually happened and why the government finally pulled the plug. You're listening to Everyone's Talking Money, the show that's all about making life richer, from your bank account to your mindset and everywhere in between. Whether you're here to crush debt, build wealth, or finally feel in control of your cash, you are in the right place. Let's dive in and get you living life on your terms. You are one conversation closer to financial freedom. So what happened? As of January 1st, 2026, the US Mint will stop producing new pennies. Existing pennies are still legal to use, but no fresh batches are coming out. You are no longer seeing that super shiny, beautiful penny in your handful of really dingy, dark, gross ones. Once the penny fades out of circulation, and let's be honest, they've been halfway gone already, that's it. They're gone. This move wasn't a surprise to economists. The penny has been on life support for years. It costs 2 to 3 cents to make 1 penny, meaning every penny was basically the government saying, we love wasting money so much, we're literally minting physical representations of our waste. Why did they do it? This was mainly about cost, materials, and efficiency. As far as cost goes, producing pennies cost taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars over the last decade. The materials required to produce pennies are zinc, copper, then don't forget about the shipping, labor, and machinery, all for a coin that buys literally nothing. Like, gone are the days where you can buy penny candy. Like, yeah, that used to be a thing, but now we can't get anything for a penny. So it buys us nothing. So it's a lot of effort, a lot of materials. Also, efficiency. Our payment ecosystem has changed. Most of us don't use cash, let alone exact change and pennies. So keeping the penny around was like insisting we all still carry the Blockbuster card just in case. By the way, have you seen that documentary on the last Blockbuster? It is awesome. Check it out if you haven't. Believe it or not, we're not the first country to do this. Canada retired their penny back in 2012. And not only did their economy survive, it thrived. So let me give you the quick world tour of countries who ditched our copper penny and lived to tell the tale. So Canada, as I mentioned in 2012, stores round to the nearest nickel. And guess what? Studies found no meaningful increase in prices. So don't buy into the rage bait that you're going to spend more money now and everything's going to be rounded up. Turns out things kind of just evened out for Canada. In Australia in 1992, they dropped the 1 and 2 cent coin decades ago and no chaos ensued. New Zealand, 1990, same story, same outcome. And the Eurozone, there's no 1 cent coins in places like the Netherlands, Finland, and Belgium. They round up or down and life continues. And in short, America's late to the party, but we did finally RSVP. So, yay, us. So, why does this matter? This isn't just about saving money on coin production. This is about modernizing how we think about money. When you remove the smallest unit of cash from your system, you're acknowledging digital payments are dominant. Small coins don't serve today's economy. Transaction systems need to be evolved. And yes, we are inching closer and closer to a less cash or maybe someday cash less environment. This is the government whispering, hey, we see you out there tapping your phone at Target. Keep doing it. So, what happens next? No need to panic. Pennies still work. We don't need to rummage through your junk drawers yet. But over the next few years, they're naturally going to disappear from circulation as people turn them in, cash them out, or rediscover one in one of their old winter coats. So for cash transactions, stores will begin rounding to the nearest nickel. If it's 1 or 2 cents, they're going to round down. 3 and 4 cents, they're going to round up. 6 and 7 cents, round down. 8 and 9 cents, round up. But if you're using a credit card, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, there's no rounding. Digital will stay exact. So now I'm sure you're wondering, well, if I'm paying more for things, will this cause inflation? Nope. Every study from countries who did this already shows that the rounding just evens out over time. The penny wasn't holding back inflation, supply chains, and corporate pricing strategies have that on lock. So what does this mean for the future? And here's when it gets interesting. This move sets the stage for bigger changes. One, rethinking cash entirely. If physical currency keeps shrinking, nickels and dimes could eventually get evaluated too and removed. We may see fewer denominations of our coins over the next decade, which is kind of freaky if you think about it. I mean, how many of us grew up? I had a giant Coke bottle, big plastic Coke bottle full of coins. Already, kids really aren't using piggy banks all that much. And if they are, it's just a lot of cash in it. So, like, they'll never have the experience of the giant Coke bottle that weighs like 50 pounds when you're finally trying to cash out your coins, roll them, bring them to the bank. Also, digital first expectations. This signals to businesses, hey, invest in digital systems, streamline your checkout, and reduce the friction of physical cash. I go to some places and it's cashless, like cards only. Do not bring any money into this place. Then I go to other places and it's cash only. And it's such a difference, but it'll be interesting to see over the next few years how these cash only places start to evolve. What else it means is that financial tracking becomes a lot cleaner. There's no more weird 1 cent errors in accounting systems, receipts, transaction logs, or budgeting apps. If I'm have accountants listening right now, like those 1 cent errors are the worst. So we're not going to have that issue anymore. And we're taking a step towards a more modern US monetary system. The penny retiring is tiny in impact, but we all have to agree this is huge symbolically. It shows that the government is slowly, as the government does, and painfully willing to update systems that haven't changed since our grandparents were young. Think of it like your dad finally canceling his AOL email address. It is a sign of growth. So, what should you do? If you've got jars of pennies sitting around like a decorative stressor, it's time. Roll them, exchange them, donate them. Let your kids glue them to a school project that will haunt you forever. Do something with them. Stop letting them gather dust. If you have a pressed penny collection from Disney, congrats. You are now a curator of historical artifacts. I'll be curious if it's worth money one day, the same way Beanie Babies, Pogs, all of that were potentially going to be worth money one day. It'll be interesting to see how many people actually hold on to their pennies because they'll be worth something. But let's give our final goodbye to the penny. Penny, you may have been cute, occasionally shiny, and the star of many find a penny, pick it up rhyme. That doesn't isn't going to exist anymore. It's crazy. But let's be honest, Penny, you may have overstayed your welcome. You've lived a long life, mostly in places you weren't wanted. You always ended up finding something sticky, like to get caught on, but now you can finally rest. Rest in power, little Abe. All right, friends, that's your money update for today. May your wallets be lighter, your pockets be quieter, and your financial life be just a little more streamlined. I'll see you next time.